Are you ready to take bold action and live a life of brilliance? Welcome to the Bold and Brilliant podcast, where women leaders share inspiring stories about daring decisions that shape their businesses, their lives, and their careers. Today, I'm with the fabulous and amazing Jana Lane. She is your true north life coach, because regardless of how your life is right now, with the right knowledge, tools, and skills, along with the proper structure of support, Jana believes you absolutely can break free and find a whole new level of fulfillment now. As we talk, you'll hear Jana share her journey of entrepreneurship, including one bold decision that has created her path of what was next. Her story of resilience, risk-taking, and transformation will inspire, encourage, and support your personal and professional growth. Please join me in welcoming Jana to the Bold and Brilliant podcast. I'm so excited, Jana. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Tracie. I'm excited to be here too. Yay.
Yeah. We've had a chance to have a number of conversations in these last few months as our worlds have finally officially intersected. We've been on the periphery together for a while, and I'm so glad that you're hanging out with us in the Gather community as a creator. And of course, we are in other organizations together where we get to run into each other every now and then. So I'm thrilled that you're here to talk about what you do, your story, the things that have made your life become what it's become, because it's a pretty darn good life.
It is.
So let's talk about it. Tell me, we can see on the screen, it says, Jana, your true north life coach, but that's not where you started. So tell us a little bit about how you got going as a grown-up in the business world, and then we'll talk about what bold decisions you made to get to where you are today. So how about some background?
Ooh, background. I am a young woman. I'm a young 60-year-old woman, and I'm wearing it proudly.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! I have decided that my third of my life is going to be my best third. And I've had a really good, interesting life. I'll share some personal things if I might to start. I was adopted when I was 9 months old and grew up in a military family. So I had the pleasure of moving a lot as a kid. I was preparing for a presentation at some point in one of my prior careers, and I mapped out the United States and all the places I'd been. And then I was like, oh my gosh. So I started counting all the times I'd moved. And even when I moved out as a young adult, I kept moving. I moved 27 times, Tracie, in 32 years. Isn't that nuts?
That is a lot. And it's understandable. Everyone knows that military families move a lot, and that military kids go from school to school to school and learn certain life skills and coping mechanisms, both as a result of that. But that is a lot.
That's a lot. It's interesting because when I think of my brother and I, who raised by the same parents in the same household, right, doing the same things, how two people in the same circumstances can have completely different lives and modalities in the world and ways of living in this world. So that's interesting to reflect on back, knowing what I know now. Of course, didn't know it then. So that was a fun way to grow up. And my first career was in retail. I did that for about 18 years and worked my way from sales floor to management. Then I got into the mortgage business and just had a really fun life. I moved to Pacifica, California for work, where I met my now husband. And we've been together over 30 years, Tracie. So I went from moving 27 times to being in the same house for 30 years.
You must love it there. And
you.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? 27 times in 30 years, and that
One
was it.
place.
And then you're done.
Yeah, it's bizarre. So now I just travel instead to fill the void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It's interesting. Your comment about two people raised in the same household, I think that's like a really common sibling story as well. My younger sister also is really wants to stay in the same place, very not, I wouldn't say set in her ways per se, but we definitely have different attitudes about change. And I'm very like, when's your birthday?
September 8th. I am a Virgo.
Virgo. Okay. I was going to say I am a Sagittarius, and one of our hallmarks is adventure. So I very much identify with that because I didn't move 27 times. I could count it. It's probably going to be a dozen, maybe by the time I was 25-ish.
That's still a lot.
Which is still a lot. I went to 5 elementary schools. Most of that was elementary school, and then same place for like middle school and high school. And then at that point, I was on my own decisions and started moving again because my mom was a Capricorn and didn't have, after my parents split, she didn't have that interest or really the means to do any kind of moving. And I think that's just wasn't her way. She had been a stay-at-home mom, didn't have a job until my parents split, and had to go figure out how to be a working woman as a single parent.
Yep.
But I was always like, where can I go? What can I do?
Yeah, love it.
My sister,
I remember we moved, I think twice during my 5th grade year. And I've always blamed that on why I, to this day, do not know my multiplication tables.
You hadn't done them yet in the first place, and they had already finished them in second place.
Bless my dad's heart. He was trying in the camper as we're moving across country, trying with those flashcards to teach me math. And it just.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
My husband has similar stories.
Math.
Yeah. My husband has a similar story, not so much with math because he's an engineer, but with other like school things, like 5th grade science camp that most kids go through. It's a kind of a rite of passage to go. You probably didn't get it, did you?
Nope. I didn't do any summer camps or whatever they were called. All the kids had those little things they made with their camp name on it.
Yes.
Never had one.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. It's my husband has a similar story. He had moved somewhere and that school had already left. And when he moved to this other school, same thing.
You miss a lot, but you gain a lot. Yeah. I wouldn't change it for the world. I absolutely love the way I grew up.
I love it. And then, so you talked about being in retail, moving into mortgage, and clearly that's not what you're doing now, True North Life Coach woman. So tell us, I think that we're at the point where we're talking about you were living in the same place, married to the same man, and you decided that you wanted to just do something different. Tell us like why and how you got to that point where you decided to make this bold decision that was going to completely change how you spend your days.
It's such a fun question to reflect on. I think there was a defining moment that I didn't realize was a defining moment. It was something that actually came to me just yesterday, Tracie. In about 2018, I decided to sign up for life coaching.
For your own, like to have a coach.
Yeah, I hired a life coach. Yeah. And when I did it, I felt very moved by the coach and when she was speaking and by the words that she had said at some event where I met her. And I thought I was very happy. I was in my mortgage career, thought that I was super happy. I was making great money and I wanted more personally. So when I started working with Lauren, it was for personal reasons. I wanted to be a little healthier and I wanted to work on my relationship with my husband as a wife to make sure I was being a good wife to him because he's an amazing husband. I won the husband jackpot.
That's so sweet.
Like any relationship, especially when you're together for many years, there's ups and downs. And so I just wanted to be a better wife to him and be a better steward of my physical body and take care of my body. So that was how this whole thing started. So I did a little bit of life coaching. And so it's 2018, fast forward in the mortgage business, we had the pandemic came and then the lockdown. And while many people were out of work in the mortgage business, we were bombarded with work because the interest rates were so low during that time.
Sure.
So I spent a couple of years really just nose to the computer and I became a paper pusher. And I didn't really realize it, but when things started to open up again in 22 and it was time to go back out in the world, I didn't want to. I didn't want to keep doing what I was doing. And I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do, but I knew I was done. Like with the mortgage career, I was like, I've taken this journey as far as I can. I'm personally not happy anymore. And I had gone in and out of the coaching with Lauren, my life coach. And so it was interesting because when I left the mortgage business, and I know we've talked about this before, like the very next day after my last day in the business, I got an invitation to go to a dream builder workshop, which is how I met Lauren in the first place. And it was just beautiful. That fell in my lap. So I had the opportunity to do a little dream building. And that the program that I attended is, and I'll get back, it's what I ended up now being certified to teach. Right. And in that moment, I had no idea that was going to happen. So I went to the workshop. I spent 2 days dream building, decided that I was going to start a home organizing business. And that is what I did. And so I re-engaged with Lauren as my business coach. So she did coaching for coaches. And that came with the life coaching piece as well. So for the first couple of years I was working with her building my organizing business, I was experiencing the training of having the life coach. And what's beautiful about the program that I studied and teach is we work with 4 quadrants of life. So we really focus on not only our vocation and our work in this world, but also time and money freedom, health and wellness, and love and relationships. Yeah. So it was a nice, well-rounded experience. And I think having that teaching while I was working with my clients, it naturally just merged for me that while I love organizing, and I'm fanatic about it, I'm the kid that comes home and organizes my parents' pantry, even though they didn't ask me to. Yeah, a little annoying to them, but it always looks better when I leave, so I feel good.
Maybe there's some expired things that can go away.
Always. A disorganization just makes my brain hurt. So if I have an opportunity to get in there and do it, I will. Anyway, that was so funny. I totally lost track of where I was going. As I was working with my organizing clients, I realized that the internal transformation that they were having from the work that we were doing and the conversations that we were having was really the part that lit me up. Because as an organizer, one of my pillars when I founded that business is I don't work for people. I'm not going in to fix it for you. I want to go in there and really help you understand why you're doing what you're doing and help you create systems and tools to support you when we're done. So that the best day of my job with you is the day you don't need me anymore. You can do this now, fly, be free. And I've worked with some beautiful clients who have taught me so much, and I've seen so much growth and change in them. It's been a really beautiful experience. And there was just a point where, and I couldn't even pinpoint it, but there was a point where I realized, holy moly, I actually want to be a life coach. Like here, I'm a home organizer, yes. Yeah, and I love it. But I'm like, okay, I want to be a life coach. Wow. Okay, that's really scary. Really
why
scary.
Is it scary?
You know what? I think part of why it was scary to me was my own mindset around what a life coach is.
Okay.
So a lot of people didn't know I had a life coach. It was something I did in secret because it's
very personal. It can be very personal.
It can be very personal, but I also had a mindset around what I thought it meant, like the spirituality and it's only those crazy. And I know this term has come up in other podcasts of yours, but only people do that kind of stuff. I've realized woo is just wow.
Ooh, I like, yeah.
It is. It's amazing. And I think woo is really just our mindset of what we think it means, because the reality is, and I heard Lisa talking about this in your podcast with her, it's scientific. These are rules. Exactly. These are universal laws, just the way it all works. Yeah. Everything is connected.
Yeah. It's universal laws in the way things are connected, but there's also the science underneath the thought processes you have, how your neurology functions. It's a whole body situation. It's not just something you're imagining.
Absolutely. So I've learned that being in the place of understanding, it's easier to live my life every day.
Yeah.
Like my new knowledge, my new skill set that I've gained since I started life coaching as a student, it's beautiful. It's almost effortless. And people have said to me, wow, you seem different. Gosh, you're always in such a good mood. Oh, I love your positive energy. And I love that. I walk around in the world now a very different human than I was 5 years ago.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And that story is not, no offense, that story is not unique.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Gone. I know, I'm kidding about the no offense, kidding, not kidding, because we get it. We've helped people and ourselves transform. I was telling someone the other day, I was like, oh yeah, when I was in corporate, I was a sarcastic bitch. And people looked at me going, what?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And there's still little humor tendencies in there that lean into that persona, but it's because I wasn't conscious. I wasn't thinking about how I was showing up in the world. I wasn't thinking about what I needed to be my best self. I wasn't thinking about how to support other people wherever they were at with whatever it is that they're going through or that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
So the idea that, or the things that you go through as you're learning to become a coach, and really any kind of coach, in the sense that our lives are intertwined with everything that we do. You started off as a life coach. I started off as a health coach and moved into life, but clearly your health and your life are heavily intertwined. And the questions are still the same. What do you want? Why do you want it? How can you become the person who you imagine has that? Like all of those questions. So I love that. And Jan, I want to say also that when you and I first talked about how you work with people as an organizer before you became a life coach in profession, that you were already doing that work as an organizer. And I really was drawn to that in our conversation because, a lot of, I don't want to say this as a stereotype because I don't know probably any other home organizers as well as I know you, but I know several and have met several. And the impression that I get is there's a lot of detail oriented and all of that kind of stuff, but I never heard anyone else talk about how you want to help the person understand themselves as much as you shared with me when we first met. So I want to acknowledge you for that because clearly you were already on that path. And you just didn't know it yet.
I did not know it. I didn't. And it's really been beautiful. And it's crazy to me, Tracie, that it's ended up this way. I don't know if I mentioned this to you before or not, but I had a memory popped into my head. It's funny when you think of things. I was in the shower and all of a sudden I remembered, oh my gosh, I remember in high school telling my counselor that I wanted to grow up to be a counselor, a kid's counselor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I thought to myself, no, that's too emotional. I don't think I can handle that. And I don't think I ever really thought about it again because but maybe I wasn't ready. I told my mom not long ago, we were talking about the coaching piece, and she's, of course, super happy for me and loves the human that I've become growing in the process. But I said to her, gosh, I wish I would have done this a long time ago. And she said, sweetheart, you're doing it exactly when you're supposed to be doing it because everything you did before led you up to this moment and this time. And it's so true. There's so much as older that we have to reflect on. The things that we've gone through in life, success or failure, they don't define us. They're just part of the fabric of who we become in the process.
100%, 100%. Yeah. I say the same thing to myself, to clients, to teaching workshops, that whatever you become, the person, there's a phrase, something about what you go through. In any case, we've all been through some stuff and there's a lot of good and there's been some bad, and the collective has been through the pandemic and we've all had things other than that have shaped who we become. I 100% agree with that. And I wouldn't, as much as loss is a part of that, and unmet expectations is my favorite phrase, because that covers covers loss, it covers the pandemic, it covers job changes and friends changing and all of those things. We've all had unmet expectations, and every single one of those has created who we are today. And if we like that, we can keep going in the same way. But if we feel like we're becoming someone more and we want to change something, we get to turn in that direction and start to figure out what else we don't know.
You and I know this. The reason you do coaching, also a different kind, but the reason I do this kind of coaching is there are so many people walking around in the world who don't know that they can change it.
Absolutely.
Right? They're just, I refer to the movie Groundhog Day all the time.
Yep.
That's how I felt I was living my life. I was just getting up, doing the same thing. You go to work, you make your dinner, you go get groceries, get the kids ready off to school, whatever your thing is. And you just go to bed and get up and do it again the next day. We spend more time planning a weekend event than we do the rest of our lives.
Yep.
And it's beautiful to have an opportunity to help people uncover the stuff that's in there that they've just pushed down. And I can relate to that because I had pushed down a lot. Like you said, we've all had our things in life. I had some bad things happen to me. And then it's the mindset around, oh, you were adopted. What does that mean for you? Or any sort of personal violation you may have had with a friend or a family member. There's so many things that people have experienced that are buried deep in that chest. And for many years, I was afraid of, part of why I was afraid of life coaching or therapy of any type is because that meant I had to open the box and let those experiences bubble up. And I was very much the person who would just push it down and push it down and push it down. But my coach, Lauren, always shares an analogy I think she got from her coach, Mary Morrissey, but about you can only hold a beach ball underwater for so long. Eventually, it's just going to burst. It's just going to fly out of the water, out of control.
And out of control in a very uncontrolled manner.
Exactly. Being able to help people deal with that stuff. And it's baby steps.
It is. And I think also that for me, part of my story is my first husband passing away. And I think a lot of us also feel like we have this story, but no one's going to understand. They're not going to be able to relate to it. And I wasn't shy of telling people what happened to me, but especially in business, like I never used that story in telling people how I became this person because I didn't think anyone would be able to relate to it. I didn't know anyone else who lost their husband to cancer at my age and with two little kids, that story. And of course, I've come across many stories now, but you think no one else has gone through what you've gone through to become the person you are. And what's great is when you finally realize that so for me, grief is the all-encompassing word, but really it's again about unmet expectations. What we don't realize is that every single person has unmet expectations. And now that we've had the pandemic, it's something that literally every person on the planet had, not knowing, lots of not knowing. We'll just leave it at that, not knowing lots of things. And so now we can all relate to that. And we can all relate to other things that we didn't know, like that my husband was going to die, that my mom was going to pass at 51, that X, that Y, that Z, and whatever it is that other people have gone through. But the how you come out the other side, the resilience that's needed, and the understanding of your own emotions and all of that, those are the things that are what tie us together. It doesn't have to be the same experience, because the resulting growth is what ties us all together, and we can all relate to that. Yeah.
Yep. You couldn't have said it any better.
That is a fact. Okay, so
cell phones. Sorry.
I know. I just got a call from Elaine.
I neglected to mute.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
I'm muted now. All right.
Fine. Edit.
We'll cut that part.
Yeah, we'll cut that part. It's all good. Okay. So how has it been now that you've become Jana, your True North life coach, and you still have some organizing clients as well as you transition, not even transition, but blend the two together and leverage the two for probably all the people that you meet. I would imagine you're always thinking this would help them, that would help them, both sides of the same coin, for lack of a better term. So how has it been since you've brought in life coaching to your work, and give us an update?
It is absolutely fun. So my thing now is just trying to get in front of as many people as I can and share the Dream Builder program and what that looks like, and build some group coaching. So one-on-one coaching is important to my business, but I would love to do group coaching.
Yeah.
So I love one-on-one because it's good for people who are scared of coaching. But on the flip side, group coaching is also, it depends on the person.
Yeah,
Some
I
people
get that.
really like that one-on-one connection because they feel ashamed. And
Yeah.
so that's why they might not want to do a group. I personally look forward to group because when I was in group coaching, I realized everyone there, it's collaborative. People learn from everybody else's questions. And like you just said, you thought you were the only one who had experienced what you experienced. And when that other square on the screen asks the question, you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I would have asked. And it's beautiful to watch. And it builds such a community, running the Gather community, right? What it's like to bring like-minded people together. Everyone may have different struggles that they've been through, but that underlying, how do I deal with it, is the same no matter which piece it is. Like the Dream Builder program, like I mentioned, the 4 quadrants that we work in. So one of the exercises I do during the workshop is we go through and talk about each quadrant. So that was love and relationships, health and well-being, your vocation or work in this world, and time and money freedom. And you kind of rate where you're at in each. And then you do a little mini vision for each of, what would I love if I had a magic wand and I could do anything? What would I love in my health and wellness? What would I love in my time and money freedom? And after we do that exercise, it's interesting because you can feel where you have the most longing, the most discontent, the most disconnect. And then I encourage my clients to really pick one to focus on. And then we can dig deeper if we choose to work together. If it makes sense to work together longer term, we can really dig into that one area. Yeah. But the principles that they learn for dream building, it's going to be repeated in that next quadrant. So like when you get, and you're never really done. Like I started on health and wellness, and I'm still circling back to that quadrant because there's still work to be done.
Yeah, there's no such thing as perfection, and we're not done till we're dead.
Absolutely. and we come to it with a new sense of awareness.
Yeah. You're a
right?
new person every
in
time.
The beginning, when you're new, you're scratching the surface. And then there's this new level of understanding and awareness of how it works that changes everything. Anyway, I love going through that process, but I want to also share the thing that I would encourage everyone, that is the foundation of transformation, and the thing that has changed my life the most, and probably why it's my free giveaway on my website, but it's implementing a morning routine.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because all the things that we're teaching as coaches, gratitude, what would I love? What would that look like? Knowledge, growing and learning and absorbing more, all of the things that are important can happen during that morning routine.
Yep.
A little quiet time, a little journaling, a little gratitude, even if someone just takes 2 to 5 minutes just to start the practice. So 5 years ago, I would have told you, oh, I am not a morning person. I hate mornings. Don't even talk to me before 10 o'clock. Now I'm up at 6 or 6:30, and my morning time is sacred to me. And it's sacred because it gives me the space to implement the tools that are actually making me walk around in the world as a better person. I can listen to a guided meditation if I'm getting ready for something, like if I feel like I need more confidence, I can listen to a meditation about who I am in the world. Whatever I want to do, there's something that I can tap into to refocus me. So my morning routine started as 2 to 5 minutes, if and when I could, to every morning I spent 10 minutes. Now I'm probably a good hour into my morning routine.
Wow.
It's sacred. It's
That's
sacred.
great.
And I literally, Tracie, walk out into the backyard, weather permitting, put my bare feet in the grass and greet the sunshine
Yes.
every morning I possibly can. And it is and it sounds so 5 years ago, I'm like, that is so today it is
Totally not.
wow.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned listening to a guided meditation. Where do you get your meditations?
So the meditations that I listen to are all provided by my coach, Lauren, and accessible through me.
Okay.
There's so many meditation
There are.
things that you can download. I've tried a few others. The voices really sometimes don't work for me. And
Yeah, you
to
got to find
me,
one that works for you.
so Lauren, as my coach, she's like my mentor and my muse, and I find her just comforting.
Yeah.
So I probably listen to her once or twice a day.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I don't know if
That's
she
great.
knows
Well,
that. I'm not
and
really
you know what?
stalking her.
And I've done that before. Obviously, I've been working with Katerina Rando for a number
Mhm.
of years, and she has had meditations and things to send out over the years. And they're probably even still, they might even still be on her links page, but I've received those from her before. And there is something about having your coach and mentor be the voice that you're listening to, even in a one-way thing,
Mhm.
because you know that they get you. And so you're listening as if it's specifically for you.
Yes.
And as opposed to something that's more consumer oriented on Insight Timer or on Calm or
Mhm.
whatever. I will share, I personally use Headspace
Mhm.
because the guy who founded Headspace, Andy, he's Australian and he's got a great accent.
We like that, do we?
And he's just really interested. Knowing his story, I will just briefly share that he was a tech guy who became a monk. And like tech guy, I grew up in Silicon Valley mostly, even though I moved around several places in Silicon Valley. That was my home and that was my origin. Knowing that I don't want to say tech bro because that wasn't from when he was there, but like the idea of someone who's in that kind of high achieving, fast paced world of corporate life, the South Bay where I grew up, to be able to say that can lead you to full kind of calm. Even if that's where you started, you can get to where he is, which is a calm, enlightened, open space. So I think that's why I like that. I do the accent. I can't.
Yeah, I think
And
meditation
they have
is
a number of people too, but
some sort of meditation and gratitude is just,
yeah.
it's a
Well,
no-brainer.
and you mentioned going out and putting your feet in the ground and greeting the sun. And I think that's something that I have a challenge with myself, my yard, my life situation here at this house. I have a challenge with that. I don't have an overhang. So if it is anything but sunny, I'm not out there. If it's
Get a dog.
I have grass and I have a dog and I don't really have grass.
Oh, you have a dog?
Oh yeah.
Oh, and they don't need to go out and walk? Oh, that's right.
Oh, we've got a
You have a
dog
big dog.
door
Oh,
that
gotcha.
she's self-sufficient, just like me.
Got it.
We're very much alike. And there's also like stuff going, there's plants that need to be planted. Like there's clutter out there because it's like a yard in progress all the time. And so it doesn't serve me. So
Just
what
like
I can
us
do,
as humans,
absolutely. But
work
what I
in
can do
progress.
is I can open these windows and my plants that I haven't killed, I'm so happy for them. I can open these windows and just look out and look. Yes, I'm looking across the lower roof, but also to the palm tree and the oak tree and the redwood tree and try to and get the sunlight through there. So I don't get the feet in the ground, but I absolutely value the fact that I have sunlight and if it's not too cold, I'll open the window and so the sunlight and air, at least 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yes.
Because we're not designed as humans to live in a box.
And now that we're working at home more, many people are just we're on screen all the time.
Yeah.
So the more we can disconnect and get away from technology. When I go for walks, that's often when I listen to meditations is when I'm walking.
Okay.
And if I'm not, I will walk without my phone just because it gives me time in silence. And that's part of my morning routine. The first 15 minutes is silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like don't touch anything, don't talk to anyone, just sit in silence. And something new I learned was to, when you first wake up, smile. Just smiling changes your physiology.
Mel Robbins would say, and go give yourself a high five in the mirror.
Heck yeah.
All right, my friend, I love this. Oh, there was something else I was going to ask you. We talked about your move from your former career to your organizing business to your life coaching business. You're talking about moving from the primarily one-on-one coaching, moving into group coaching. What do you see? Have you imagined? I know you have your third philosophy going on. So what does that look like? What do you see for the next, whatever time period you want to choose, but what's ahead?
So, what is ahead for me is focusing solely on your true north life coaching.
Mhm.
And the organizing piece will always be there because it's my
Yeah,
differentiator.
it's like a
Excuse me.
tool for your true north.
Yeah, exactly. A bonus, an add on. Yeah, because the connection between our physical space and our mental and our heart space is really important. So as I'm coaching people through whatever program they end up doing with me, I want to be able to offer them some tools to support them at home
Yeah.
because I'm a big believer that while I'm talking to people on a screen, what really matters is when they close the lid and turn around and walk out into their home, that it is supportive and conducive to all the other goals and dreams and things they're trying to accomplish in their life.
Yeah.
So back to what's ahead for me, it's going to be as much speaking and doing workshops as possible, just getting the word out there and serving my life coaching clients. And then my big vision I'm a dream builder client still. So I
Yeah,
still have
sure.
coaching and the same thing that I now coach people on. I
Mhm.
don't, because we're never done. But in my vision, at the end of the year, I'm standing in the middle of a foyer of a tropical hotel. I haven't figured out where it is yet, but I'm standing there and I'm just basking in the beauty and the joy of watching my students and all the other coaches I've collaborated with come together in a beautiful retreat in a tropical place and just celebrating our growth and love in this world and bringing light and spreading light. So that's my vision. So it'll be workshops, coaching, retreats, and the beauty of it is I can do it from anywhere in the world. So I hope to just travel as much as possible when my husband retires, which I hope is as soon as possible. So
Awesome.
that's my vision.
And I love, that's beautiful. And I love that your retreat vision includes not only you and your retreaters, but also other coaches and theirs and your whole collaborative effort. And I think that is the benefit of being part of a program that is a widespread program, very respected and highly known and all of those things. So congratulations to you on joining up with this other community of people who are all serving their people in the same way so that you do have that ability. And because I can tell you, as with the gather community, there's nothing like it. Having the
Absolutely.
people that you can call upon to support, but also to just be together and be on the same page and kind of be in that same vibe, that whole woo vibe where
Right.
everyone's in the same place. I
We'll
love,
wow together.
yes, I love it. It's amazing. And I see the palm tree in the lobby. So we'll
Yes.
just say that. I don't
Yeah.
know where it is either, but I see the palm tree.
I
Awesome.
love being part of the community and I love the collaborative mindset because there's a gazillion types of coaches out there. But as a transformational life coach, we're really looking at a broader picture.
Yeah.
And while we'll focus on one area, I know in this work, there are people who need more than I can give them on a specific
On a
thing,
specific, yeah.
whether it's grief or weight loss or whatever that thing is. And having my gather community, my community of other coaches that I can collaborate with and people I know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Who I can refer my clients to have extra
Right.
support. I have 4 or 5 coaches and I'm a coach. So
Right.
there are not too many coaches in this world.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of us, but we're all absolutely unique.
But there are so many more, Tracie, who don't have coaches, who will never, ever, who have not learned the things that we know and that we're able to share. It's shocking. If you think about the population,
oh yeah,
there's a lot of us, but there's still not enough.
Yeah, there's still not enough. And there's still that, and that's why there's no competition in my mind, because there's still plenty of people out there. Everyone needs support. And whether that is by understanding that you have hired a coach, right? Or that you're in a community of other people who are empathetic and understanding and just give you the support that you need. Professional coaching, yes, and also community, because that's at least a start.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
We have to invest in ourselves for sure.
Absolutely. This has been amazing. And I love where our direction took us to seeing your big vision for the future and what is on the horizon as you look at your true north. So very thrilled to have you here on the podcast. I want to thank you. And I want to encourage everyone out there to check out Jana's information, connect with her, help her reach her goal of reaching more people. If you know somewhere that is looking for a speaker like Jana, please reach out to her. And that is, I think, one of the biggest gifts we can give someone who wants to speak is, do you have a group who would enjoy me as a speaker, you as a speaker? Introduce us. Tell us, how we can help, because that's our mission, is to share.
Yes.
Awesome. Jana, thank you again. And thank you for being on the Bold and Brilliant podcast.
My pleasure.
Ta-da. Thank you for listening to the Bold and Brilliant podcast. I'm your host, Tracie Root, and I want to invite you to check out the show notes, find out where you can connect with our guests, find out more about what I and the Gather community have to offer you, and be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform. Thanks so much.